Sure, TJ Steele, and I am from Claro Restaurant in Gowanus, Brooklyn. And yeah, I'm here with you guys today at Heritage to cook some turkey legs. I've known Heritage so long that Patrick used to call a landline at Union Square Cafe every day, pretty much to talk to us before cell phones were so used. So I guess maybe almost 20 years-ish, I think. So yeah, a long time been getting your guys' phone calls. Supporting Heritage and Heritage Breeze, I like just being one step closer to the farmer and kind of leaving out the big guy as much as possible, and you know, knowing where my money's going and where things are coming from. And as far as the turkey, I've always been a big turkey fan, and when I opened Claro, I kind of didn't ever want to have chicken on the menu. My experience in Mexico was there was a lot of turkey and turkey dishes that I liked a lot and didn't see anyone doing them here. And knowing that you guys carried a good product, we tried it out, and it was kind of perfect for what we wanted, and haven't really looked back since. And to this date, yeah, all the dishes that people would normally think of with Mexican cuisine that might be chicken, we've been doing with turkey and get a good response with them. I think it's more flavorful, and yeah, it's the old school American bird. Today we are making a version of a tinga, which a lot of times people see with turkey or with chicken, but we're doing this one with turkey. And just to show you guys some things you could do with different cuts, we're just going to use the legs. So, you know, if you're not a big family and don't want to cook a whole turkey at home, legs might be perfect for you. We're going to steam these for probably about 2.5 hours. So, you know, 2 legs probably good to feed one hungry person, maybe 2 or 3 not so hungry people, but I think it's something that's easy to do in an apartment and a little more approachable than like the whole roaster guy. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. Cool, so I'm going to closer to me and just season them up a bit. In the steamer pot here, we have like about a quart of water for these two, and we are going to use the liquid that we steam in kind of like a nice stock afterwards. And I find that when you use steaming liquid, a lot of times it's a lot cleaner than if you were making a chicken stock or a stock like that. You don't have to do all the like skimming of the proteins that come up and stuff, and you get kind of more of almost like a clear consommé with a really clean flavor. And it's just less you have to watch. You kind of just, you know, put it on, and it's harder to burn something you're steaming as long as you don't run out of water. So you gotta watch out for that, and otherwise you're pretty good. So we've got some salt in here. I'm gonna put some aromatics in the water just to add a little bit of flavor. I'm gonna save some for later, but I have some bay leaves, garlic, allspice, peppercorn, and clove. So I'm gonna throw some of these guys in here. And then I'm gonna put these turkey legs in. Cool, and as you can see, hold on, I'll show you guys here. These legs are really different sizes, so as far as how long it's gonna take, that's kind of up to you guys to see when the meat starts falling off or if it feels tender. But I've gotten some turkey legs that are like twice the size of these, and some that looks like chicken legs, so you kind of just have to figure it out. But again, there's a lot of fat in this cut and gelatin and stuff, so you know, the long cooking and the steaming, you can't really overcook it, so don't worry about that. Cool, yeah, so we're gonna let these guys steam and check on them, and then when they're done, we're gonna pick the meat and take it from there. So, all right, cool. So 2.5 hours later, turkey legs are looking pretty done. We're gonna now take them out. You'll see they shrunk a bit and started to pull away from the bone. And also, like, if I press on them, you'll see that they're kind of coming apart, and that's kind of exactly what we want. So the tricky part about the turkey legs is there are these little, I'm sure there's some like real name for them, but I call them like little plasticky things, and that's the not fun part. So we're going to make sure we get all these out. So almost more than picking the meat, you're kind of picking these out to be left with the meat. You can see too how dark the meat is too, and for me that's what I like. That's more flavor, and that's one of the reasons why I choose not to use chicken for a dish like this. especially because I feel like for my travels in Mexico, when you go have tinga or turkey or something like that, a lot of times you're getting it from the town or the people themselves have grown it. And you know, a lot of these chickens that we get here are not from Heritage, of course, but at the store they just don't really taste like too much. So I think that this is a way around that to get some more flavor. Cool, so it's a pretty decent amount of meat for 2 legs and not really too much effort, so happy about that. Easy to do at home. So we're gonna set this aside, and from the steaming of the turkey, like I was talking about before, we probably have, you know, we used a quart of water, so now we probably have about a pint of stock or something in between that. So we're going to strain that out, and I'll show you guys the next step to get the assembly of this started. So right now we're getting a pan hot to cook some of these onions and spices that I'll go over in a second. I don't expect anyone to do this at home, but at the restaurant, after we do make one of these turkey stocks or something and let it cool down, you can take the fat off the top, and then you have some really nice turkey fat, or, you know, I know a lot of people do that with chicken or duck or whatever, but at the restaurant, we like to save up our turkey fat for that extra turkey flavor, and this would be where we use it. So we're getting a pan nice and hot. We're going to add some of that fat, and if you don't have the fat, you can use any kind of oil that you like using at home, something preferably neutral flavored if it's not a bird fat, but you know, that's up to you. And once we get this hot, we are going to add our onions. Add these onions. Our bay leaf, which I like to cut a couple cracks to get the oils and stuff going. Gonna put a clove of garlic, some peppercorns, and cloves. So this we're gonna cook kind of nice and slow and let everything caramelize and get a nice kind of golden color, and should be smelling your nice turkey fat and herbs and stuff. And once this cooks down, then we are going to add that liquid to it and basically reduce that down to what will be our sauce for the turkey tinga. So I'm gonna cook this down a little bit, and then we'll get to the next step. Yeah, depending on the power of your range and how you're cooking it, it probably takes about 15-20 minutes to cook the onions down to a point like this, but you really want to watch them and keep stirring so you get a nice even color like this. And if you get it too dark, it's going to be bitter, and if you don't get it dark enough, you're not going to have that complex flavor that we're looking for. So we're going to get to this stage, and now we're going to add some stock and cook it down. So that amount was probably a lot less. We're going to add all of the stock, so it would be like a quart, and then you're going to cook that down for probably, I could say, probably take about 45 minutes, again, depending on how flat your surface is, the power that you're using, and if you're going to be good and stay there and stir it, or if you want to kind of go fuck off and not pay attention, then maybe it's going to take a little longer. So yeah, we're going to cook this down a little bit more, and then we're going to add the chipotle chilies. At the restaurant, we use a pasilla oaxaqueña, which is a Oaxacan chili that kind of gives it a nice Oaxacan twist for us. It's very similar to a chipotle, but a local version. But at home, it's probably easier to find some chipotles at the bodega or something like that. So yeah, we're gonna show you guys how to do it with that. Okay, so you can see that the onions are starting to break down. Everything's nice and soft. The fat's starting to emulsify a bit, and it's getting saucy. So we took some chipotles and put the adobo in here, took the seeds out, and I'm just gonna kind of give them a little rough chop before adding them to our sauce. This is kind of up to you too. If you really like spice, then go for it. And if spice is not your thing, then use less. And if spice is really, really not your thing, then I would suggest maybe replacing some of this with a little bit of tomato paste or something else to give you a little acid and flavor, but not really take away everything from the dish. So I'm gonna add these guys in, whoop. And I'm gonna season with a little bit of Mexican oregano now too.
What's the difference with Mexican oregano?
It comes from Mexico. Yeah, I actually really don't know the difference between the plants, but it's definitely not like a Greek oregano. You can see it looks different too. It's the leaves are lighter and kind of, I don't know. Yeah, or like maybe, yeah, I find this to be more floral and the Greek might be a little more herbaceous.
Yeah, like herbaceous.
Yeah. So either way, Mexican style is you break this up in your hands as you are crushing it, or go like this and kind of get the oils going and warm it up a bit. Gonna stir this in. And we're getting close now. You can see as I'm stirring, it's almost like a risotto. It's taking longer for the liquid to come together. And that's from it getting thicker with the fats emulsifying and the... Also, if you properly season your turkey leg the first go around, since you're kind of looking at the piece of meat that you want to season, if you season that well, this should be good because you're using that stock and cooking it down. And if you over season that or try and season the stock and then cook it down, you're gonna have a salty problem. Now I'm gonna add this turkey meat that we picked. And since it's already cooked, it's really just about making it one with the sauce. And you don't want it to break apart to complete shreds, but you definitely want it to be a little smaller pieces than this and kind of also really just start getting along with the sauce and becoming one. Let this go for maybe another minute or so, and I'm gonna use my spoon to break up any really big pieces, but otherwise kind of let it do its own love. I like when I'm using a chipotle too to see these like kind of little chunks in here, but if that's not your thing, you can feel free to puree it up, but if you like it less spicy, or I would recommend taking out the seeds anyway if you're going to puree it up because they can make it a little bitter, but I think we're pretty much here. So I'm going to turn this off and then I will show you guys how to put something really simple together with this to kind of just munch out when you're at home. Yeah, cool. We got our finished tinga here that we just finished, and we're going to talk about some things you can do with it. So you can make nachos with it, you can make tacos with it, you can make some weird enchilada style lasagna with it, you can eat it on rice, you can make rice bowls and eat it with rice and beans. But today we are going to make a turkey tinga tostada. So we made these at the restaurant with corn that we import and grind and do the whole nixtamalization process ourselves and make these tostadas. So if you can't do that, you can buy them from a store or make one of the other things I just told you about. So I like mayonnaise on my tostadas. It's a pretty big thing in Mexico. Some people think it's weird. I don't. So we're gonna use some Kewpie because everyone likes Kewpie. And now I'm gonna just spread this around here, and this will kind of be our glue. On top of this, I'm gonna put some of our turkey. And again, up to you how hungry you are, how much you want, but I think that this is kind of a good amount to not make a mess of yourself. And then from here, I like some shredded cabbage. You can use lettuce or something else, but I like cabbage. It's crunchier, it stands up to the heat a little more and has some more flavor. So crema, because it's nice and spicy and hot, and this is kind of good. At the restaurant, we take crema and we add blue cheese to it and make a blue cheese crema, because I think tinga's kind of like hot wings or something, and I like that. So kind of something fun we do. If you want to do it, go for it. Ranch dressing, why not? But classically, I think you go crema. We're gonna do some crispy shallots. If you want to put some crispy potato chips on here or crispy whatever, have fun. Some of those guys, make it look pretty with some cilantro, and then we'll put a couple pieces of avocado on here for some healthy fat. And then I like these kind of little round guys that go this way instead. And give my avocado a little salt to be nice. I'll put this on a plate. Cool, and yeah. So,
Should we taste?
Yeah, you can taste it, or I'm gonna eat this one. You guys will have to make your own, but I just showed you how, so
All right, I'm
go
coming
for
to
it.
taste it. All right, can we cut this in half so we can share it? Or
No,
this is
yeah,
like
this
I
is
take a bite.
We're gonna watch you do this. You do it.
All right, all right.
And if you want to help people eat it, you should be like, you could break a little
I
piece
can
off.
break a little
No, you
bit
do
more
what
like
you're gonna
nacho
do. So
style.
what, I can tell them the right way, and you could show them what might go wrong if you just
no.
did that.
Got it.
Yep.
But then I like this, then I can dip.
Yeah, and you know, this is, you do what you want with this. You're eating it at home. It's a big chip, right? Like, so, I like chips. Don't hate, just,
There's a nice amount of heat. I'm someone who I like a little bit. You still taste the heritage turkey. I think it's delicious.
and yeah, cool.
Thank you, chef.
Yeah, thanks
Can
for
we plate up
having
a
me.
few more? Do one for a beauty shot?
Sure.